There, knife lovers. Today we have to discuss about a problem that most of us knife users will encounter, at least in some points of our knife using lives. So this is the problem right here, a rusted knife, and what to do if your knife gets rusty. What you will need is a rusty knife. In this case we are using the Terävä Jääkäripuukko in carbon steel, which is quite badly rusted, and for that we are going to use either sandpaper. In this case, this is a 1000 grit normal wet and dry sandpaper, or we will use some steel wool, a normal plain double-aught steel wool. So, if we start with sandpaper here, the process is quite simple. What you will do is take the sandpaper and put it on the table flat and use some water. You don't need much, but it's good to have some lubrication on the wet and dry paper. And then we just place the flat part of the blade against the tabletop and start rubbing back and forth, and mind your fingers, especially if the knife blade is very sharp. Okay, now we are starting to develop a nice sheen on the blade, and it depends on your taste. Do you want to leave these marks of life on your blade, or do you want to have a nice, smooth, spotless steel blade visible? So, when it comes to the edge bevel here, it is not flat, as you can see, obviously. So you need to tilt the blade in order to get contact on the full edge here. So what you will do is take the blade and tilt the blade part towards the table and lift the spine part off from the table, like so. Some more water. Take the knife blade and tilt it, and then we continue with the back and forth motion. Okay, as you can see, the blade is getting fully shiny, but still there are a lot of marks of life, or in this case, pitting. And pitting means that the rust itself is eating away material inside the blade, and when we are grinding it off, it leaves crevices into the steel. This happens if the rust stays on the blade long enough that it penetrates. So this is the reason why we want to keep our blades in good condition and oiled at the same time. So after use, dry your blade and put some oil on it. So the final part of the blade that we want to take care of is the tip here, with the tip curve on the bevel. We take the knife blade, we tilt it, and we start lifting the handle. We don't want to use any other forms of rotation, so no sideways rotation and no back and forth tilting, because we will ruin the nice grind edges that are still sharp after we have done the sanding correctly using a flat surface. So we tilt it and start lifting it little by little, and only use pressure on the backstroke like so, and then you can lift the blade off if you want to, and lift the blade again a bit, or the handle, and rinse and repeat. This is the most tedious part of the process, and it will take a bit longer than the flat parts will. And there we have it. This is the way it's done with the sandpaper. Now let's proceed and use the steel wool. So we take the piece of the steel wool, rinse it down with water. This will take more time because the steel wool is grinding away less material than the sandpaper, but it will also bring out more shine and will be more delicate. So if you have, for example, a Damascus knife again, or a knife with, let's say, engraving, the steel wool will be better for that purpose. Now we are moving to the more dangerous part, which is the bevel here. And now we are really close to the edge, so be careful with your fingers, because it will hurt, you will bleed, and everybody will be sad. So, there you go. Now the knife is mostly rust free, but there are still a lot of marks of life on the blade. It will take a lot of time, it will take some patience, but eventually you will have a desired cleanness to your blade. Thanks for watching, and keep your knives rust free so you save yourself one headache.